go.
Let's do it.
Guys, welcome to the Daily Reps podcast show. I just have been shooting the shit here with with a good friend of mine. Guys, I want to welcome to the show Bobby Guntoro. He is the new University of North Carolina at Wilmington head swim coach, and we were just talking about this, guys. Let me just tell you, the University of North Carolina at Wilmington is a D1 school there's never been another university as successful. Am I right, Bobby?
And in our level, yeah. In the Division I level, I think we won the most streak for conference records at one point. Yeah, Coach Dave Allen, he was the first head coach here at UNC Wilmington. He won 13 years in a row on the men's side. He won total 16 conference championships. That's kind of unheard of. I think for success, you're in, you're out. So he was my coach. And I was a part of it. I was my senior year, we won number 10. And that was but every year you go in, you kind of like, you don't want to be the first guy that lose, So
right.
Every alumni just give you a call or everything, before conference, hey, we're cheering for you, but they know deep down inside they don't want the streak to end, So I remember my senior year, man. I was like, all right, we're gonna go in and win again, that's for sure.
But, and Bobby, to hear you say that, it makes me think of, New England Patriots come to mind, where when you've won that many, the difficulty to keep that going, because everybody is gunning for you. That is a huge feat, and that puts you at a whole nother level, man. To be able to keep that rolling, and you and I have been kind of talking before we did this, before we started the show, and I was just congratulating you on what a feat it is for you to really step in the shoes. How old are you, Bobby?
I'm 33.
God, at your age, to be at the position that you're in, a huge feat. And I watched you, go because I was working as a strength coach at UNCW when you were there, and had the privilege of working with your coach, who is just, you really can see why he was able to maintain and get to that level there, because what an awesome man just to speak with, and a coach, and for you to work with. And I'm sure that he probably kind of passed down a lot of good knowledge to you.
Absolutely, man. I think the big thing that I learned a lot from Coach Dave Allen was, it's bigger than sport. It really is. It's a thing to have a great team. When I was here, I remember my freshman year walking on deck. He had the ability to create an environment where everybody's so welcome in our program, and we know that when you feel like you are truly part of a program, you're gonna give it more than 100% every time, right? And I do feel that, that amazing feeling when you walk in, you're not just a part of this. I'm not just one out of 24 guys or 26 guys at the time, right? But I'm a part of a legacy that Dave Allen was built since 1978. So that every alumni that's graduating from this program, they look at you that, hey, this is your program now. We built the foundation, but your program now. And I felt that immediately as a freshman. I think the big thing, that having that family atmosphere really helped me as a young man. And, I made mistake, but I know, with family, you're not going to get along all the time, right? And you're going to learn the hard way, and you're going to learn the easy way. You're going to have some fun time together, and you're going to have some hard time together. I feel like, that truly environment, my 4 years as a student athlete at UNCW, I learned a lot, and I feel it was more than just swimming. And Dave was so good when it come down to putting everything in perspective, how, hey, this is where you make a mistake, and then put it back into life, in life and down in the future, you may make the same mistake, maybe in financially, maybe in relationship, maybe in anything, right? But you learn from this step, right? And he's so good. And when we make mistake, we'll sit down in his office and not necessarily, it's okay to make mistake, but it's almost like it's okay if we learn how did we get there. And it's okay for us to make a mistake if we know how to move forward from there and we want to move forward together. So to me, I feel like that mentorship really does a lot for me in life, well after UNCW, obviously. So that's why, I think that's why we were able to maintain the level of success that we had. I mentioned to you before this, it's hard, man. Every time you show up in February, every year we call it the target's getting bigger. It's first when you win one time, the target is like this small in the back of your back, on your back, right? And then becoming bigger. And every time you win, the whole conference wants to see you lose, except you, right? No one wants to see you win. So it made us closer as a team. It made us that's like almost having that mentality where, hey, it's us against the world. It doesn't matter what they think. If our circle think that we can be successful, we're going to be successful. When it comes down to February, we don't need other people outside our team to tell us we're going to be successful. We don't need that. By the time we step up on the pool deck and on the day one, we look at each other, we kind of have that smile like, it's going to be another ring right here. It's game over. I think we like to call it, people, you call it whatever, cocky or whatever, for us, I think it's confidence, I think because we knew that the target is that big. We knew it. And we like to call it, if the target that big, you miss it, you miss one, you're done. You're not going to get it. The target is big. It's not that hard to hit it, right? And for whatever reason, on the first day you missed it, and we'd be like, it's game over, guys. Man, give us the ring. we still have 3 more days to go, So I think that was kind of like the I feel like I call it, we got the swag and we know how to work hard. But it's just more than just swimming, more than just the sport. It's really a whole picture. And again, every single one of us that graduated from UNCW, we made mistake. We did some stupid things, but we learned from it, right? And we know the limit. We know it's like, hey, that was not good. That was not okay. This is how we're gonna move forward. I think Dave Allen had a lot to do in creating that atmosphere. And now I had the opportunity to really continue the legacy. And the program hasn't really been even as successful as it was before. So hopefully I can come in and recreate the culture, and it's going to be a different culture. It's not going to be recreating Dave Allen culture, but Dave has built this great foundation. And for us, I like to call it, we're building on excellence. We have 30 something, almost 40 years of excellence that built in this program. And now our job as a program is we're building on excellence. And we'll see where it takes us.
Man, just hearing you talk, man, it just got my mind going about it. And I should be writing some of this stuff down, but one of the things that I found too, to hear you say the same kind of things, Bobby, and to hear you talk about Coach and what he has found and what you are hitting the nail on the head of talking about making mistakes and then overcoming those mistakes. And I want to say, God, I mean, honestly, every person that I've had on this show, and I ask them about that, how have you gotten to this level? Or, our coaches and we're shooting back and forth. And even myself, I say, my most coachable athletes are the ones that realize their mistakes and then they correct them. And then for you to also talk about and I always talk about the gym being the same type of thing as an athlete as in their sport, the carryover to life. Yep. And so, I mean, this is why I love doing this and talking to somebody like you. Most people will sit, well, here's 2 coaches here talking about, fitness and health, but the carryover to life is such a huge thing. And, you know, to hear you talk about coaches, and coaches in my life were the ones that really kind of brought me into doing this. I thought, man, I've never had anybody in my life impact me, you know, have that much of an impact on my life like some of my coaches, and that carryover is just a huge thing
Yeah.
in life, you know, and not settling for mediocrity and correcting those mistakes. And, you know, here to say that right off the bat, man, I know you're on the right path, brother. So,
Thank you.
you know, and then another thing I wanted to talk to you about too, that you were talking about, and I had the chance to work with some of these guys, you know, like Seth and Rob Anderson.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you swam with these guys, right?
I did swim with Rob Anderson, and he was a year older than me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, these guys, so I had a chance to work with these guys. I did ocean rescue with them right there in Wilmington. And for them to come out of the same program as you, and you speaking about the same thing, we literally would get together and just crush workouts. I mean, these guys, they were so determined and so motivated. I always joke around because I would tell these guys, you know, we'd be up in the stand and I'd be like, Rob, hey, Seth, hey, you guys want to go to the track Monday? And we'll go crush a workout at like, what time? 8 o'clock. And I never, ever had to call them on the phone before and say, hey, you're going to be there? I just showed up and they were there. Yeah. You know, where anybody else on the planet, and I still do this with my clients, I'm constantly like, are you still good for 8 o'clock? You know, so you can see that just like yourself, that they have that instilled from them, and probably from that program that you're talking about right there.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I think, you know, like for example, like, you know, sometimes we're so, swimmers in general, we're known for morning person, and we're known for the sport that don't give you much praise. You know, it's if you're successful in swimming world, only the swimming world know. Nobody else know. If you're successful in football or basketball, the whole world know, right? So I feel like we produce a different breed in terms of the type of athletes that we have, and you know. But I think at the same time, you know, you have different challenges when it comes down to that, and sometimes, you know, one of the big thing that I spoke, one of our freshmen this morning, we have 5:45 morning practice this morning. Our first morning practice before 6:30. I wanted to increase the intensity this week, and I want to be like, okay, we got 16 weeks, and this is week one where I want to meet at 5:45. But then you're done for the rest of the day, you know. And there's a reason I do that, because I want to challenge them mentally, up and early, and you know, hey, if you can get it done, it was a tough set. It was lactate tolerance set. If you can get it done before 9 a.m., you can get it done at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Easy, super easy, right? So I think for me, you know, one of my freshmen, he didn't show up. You know, but he was, you know, he's always good. He's trying to figure things out, you know. And one of the big thing that the comment that I made is like, oh, I'm like, he was afraid to show up after he was being late. And I sat down with him, like, come down to the pool, you know. And he knows I'm a pretty strict guy. I'm a pretty kind of, you know, it's black and white type of guy, right? And you know, and I go into gray sometimes, right? And when I need to, and I sit down with him, I'm like, look, I didn't yell at him or anything, but like, one thing that I want him to learn, that at some point in life, we're going to make mistake. And I was like, I'm going to make mistake as a coach. And like, let's put it in the same situation. I told them that at some point this morning practice, I may overslept, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to show up to the pool deck. That doesn't mean I'm not going to own my mistake, right? And that doesn't mean like I'm facing like, that's what I did. How are we going to move forward from here, right? And I told him, like, for you to show up here, I want you to show up even an hour and a half late. I want you to be on the pool deck right now, because you make a mistake, whatever it is, right? And you maybe went to bed late last night. Maybe did some homework last night. Okay, how did we get there, right? And maybe we take a look at the schedule of what's going on. Maybe we need to manage our time a little bit better on the days before the 5:45 a.m., right? And I told him, like, sometimes when you have a full-time job, you may oversleep, but you got to own that. You got to come clean to your boss and be like, hey, I did this. My mistake is not going to happen again, right? Or how do you move forward from there? And I told him, first step is owning that mistake. Like, hey, that's all right. You own the mistake and you work hard when you show up. And I knew I knew that the mistake is not just, I just don't want to show up. It's not that. And I'm okay with that, and we're going to work together towards that. And, he did 45 minutes, he get in the water, and we did 45 minutes, and we end up in a really good note. And, we're going to shut down the rest of the day. We're going to show up tomorrow afternoon, and that's okay. So I feel like I think a lot of great coaches that mentor me and that I work alongside with, or that coached me before, they're so focused on the mentality, focus on, hey, like what you say with Rob and Seth, mentality, like, you say something, you're going to do it. And so I think that is so big for me, is more that your action speaks louder than what you say. And I think when you say something, you got to do it. You got to, I think you got to go for it. And I think, to me, I feel like, that's what swimmers are a majority of the time. And especially if you are graduated from UNCW, we were taught that way. And that was the only way we know how to do things. Now, and again, and I told him, like, I'm not saying we're going to do everything perfect. We're going to make mistake. But when we make mistake, we learn from it. We're going to go for it. And we're going to learn pretty quick about it. So.
Absolutely. I mean, every single swimmer that I knew that came out of there were like these guys. I mean, I always use the word badasses, but just,
yeah.
I mean, I remember that year too, it paid off because we had a nasty hurricane that came through there and ended up having over like 300 saves on the beach.
Wow.
Where, and I happened to have Rob was in the stand with us, where it was one of those days, honestly, Bobby, where we were just going, and we almost thought our lives were in danger. They wrote that up, and people could look at that on the Star News headline, but there was nobody I was more grateful to have in the stand than Rob, who came out of that program, and anybody that came out of that program, they were just like that. The amount of training and the pushing, and one of the things that Seth used to always say, because we would go in and jump into some of the craziest type conditions, and without even thinking, he'd always say charging. And I don't know if that was a UNCW thing, but we would just, you're talking about hurricane type, huge waves, and he would just be like charging, and we wouldn't even think about it, and would just not even 1 second thought on it and go in there and get it. And man, I to hear you say that there was not one person I knew, and I knew plenty of them through ocean rescue that came out of it. Because a lot of them worked that, in the summertime, they would go down there and they would swim, and they were just like, go-getters. And I'm sure the same thing in the beginning of the swim season and stuff. They probably were like, this guy made those mistakes and then, corrected them, and now are the people that they are today. Bobby, are you a morning person? Are you yourself, like, do you feel like, getting up early in the morning is what kind of is led to your success?
I am, man. I am. I actually have a rule that I wake up an hour before practice every day, typically. I'm a pretty, really like a rhythm guy. I like to start in the morning. I don't know. I just don't sleep as much, to be honest with you. My wife tells me that all the time. Sometimes, I wake up early morning, and then I get a recruiting calls with the West Coast people, and I'll stay up until, hey, they got done with practice at 6 p.m. I'm like, well, that's 9 p.m. And I get on the phone call, and my wife go to bed, or my son goes to bed, and I'll be like, all right, well, I get on the phone call, and I used to recruit internationally more in a previous school at NC State. Sometimes that's 6 hours different, and they were like, hey, the only time I'm available to talk is like 12 o'clock on their lunchtime. So I'm like, that's 6 a.m. on my time and my morning off. I'm like, all right, I'll get up, grab my coffee, and get on the phone and talk recruiting. And And, you know, and I close most of those recruits that we do that because I feel like, I don't know, I'm a big fan that, you know, I like to see sunrise. And whenever I'm not in the pool, I always tell them, like, hey, go out there, go to the beach, see the sunrise. You're going to recharge like that. Your soul is going to be ready to go. I'm truly believing that. And, you know, for me, I like them in morning practice. One of my favorite things, because you start the day the right way. You know, and if you don't start the day the right way, it gives you the opportunity to reset your day. And then, okay, what did I do? All right, reset your day and do it right. You know, and do it right. You know, our philosophy, one of the big things that I introduced to our swimmers and divers here this year, I told them, we're going to pay attention to detail in life. You want to be successful, you have to pay attention to detail in life. That means, you know, we got to take care of your academic. We need to know when to shut it down and be with friends, have social life, right? And we also need to know, like, shut down the social life. We got to really focus on a certain thing. And I think the balance in life, it's really important. And I think morning practice is really, in my opinion, is the best opportunity for us to start the day the right way. Some people don't start the day the right way, and the question would be like, oh, why is that? Why weren't we successful in practice? Is it because our action the night before, right? Or I tell them one of the big thing is attitude is an option. You have the option what type of attitude you want to have when you step out of the house. It's your option. It's your choice. So to me, there's the two things, right? Those two things you can control. Whether it's directly, which is attitude, sometimes you're ready to go, but you don't have a great attitude. To me, it's more like, you're not going to go. You ain't going. Like, you know, I had an NCAA champion in 2018 and 2019. He won 200 fly at NC2A. You know, out of everyone that I ever coached, his attitude is the best at 5:30 in the morning. I talked to him, and like, he's from Greek. He's a Greece guy. He's like, it's really like, he likes to hug, like, hey, how you doing? You know, I give him like, hi, Andres. Before 7 o'clock in the morning, you can't hug me, man. So I'm a morning person, but before 7 a.m. in the morning, man, I like your attitude, I like your energy, but you ain't hugging me before 7 a.m., brother.
Yeah, that's a rare bird right there, man. I remember even in high school, people would be like, dude, leave Eric alone until third period at least. But I mean, I really have changed my, and a few other our guests too, they always talked about the same thing that you're hitting on. Two yoga guys who are just hugely popular and successful, win the morning, win the day. And it's really changed my life when I've, you know, put that philosophy into practice, because I feel like it kind of gets that ball rolling, that momentum going. And when you come in and you charge that day, man, it gets things going. And I'm sure, you know, when you have an athlete like that you're talking about, it makes your job easier.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I mean, you know, I think it's almost, you know, I think the big thing as a coach, to be honest with you, coaching on the pool deck is the fun part. I think if somebody was asking me actually last night in one of my recruiting calls, like, you know, what was, how was I able to produce national champions in the last 5 years in NC2A? And that's a really hard thing. So it's very, very hard thing to do, let alone winning the national. Just qualify to get to national. It's harder to qualify to NC2A than qualifying to Olympic trials. And put that in perspective. It's a lot harder to go to NC2A than going to Olympic trials, because in NC2A every year on the men's side, only 28 people to 30 people invited in each event. That's it. If you're outside top 28, top 30, you ain't going. That's it. Right? So it's really, really hard. It's really like, for people to go, just to be able to go to NC2A, it's really elite already. You're top 30 in the whole Division 1. Like, you know what I mean? So that's hard, right?
That's a lot of people.
a lot, exactly, like thousands of in each event, you know. So for me, you know, I told them that I think the big thing is the relationship between myself and the student athletes, the people. I think everybody is his own person. We got to work with each other where, hey, you know, so and so, this is maybe their, like the national champion. His name was Andrea. His name is Andreas Vazayos. He's him and I. We had honest relationship where more that I can push him and I can back off, and I need to back off. I know I need to back off and be like, okay, he got a lot going on in his mind, and when I know he came back, you know, I read body language a lot. Before anything, I read body language, how they walk in the pool deck, how they put their back, how they put the goggles on, and then I read. I pretty much typically, I get my coffee, I got my head. I was like, good morning, good morning, good morning. I just sit there right there. I just observe. I just watch. Okay, that kid's gonna have a good practice. You know, not so good today. That's gonna be good practice. You know, so to me, once I observe that, I try to assist them. Okay, if so good or so and so is good, all right, I get them fired up, crack some jokes, what's going on, bring the vibe to the rest of the group, you know, and then typically, all right, and then I watch the people that would struggle a little bit, maybe rolling in, start opening up a little bit more. Okay, that's all right, they get going a little bit more. And there are some people that still struggle, then that's when typically I would go more like a one-on-one, be like, hey, how's it going? What's going on? And just having that conversation, not necessarily what's going on with you today. No, just more like, hey, what's up? How was last night? What'd you do for dinner last night? Just kind of having that human interaction is going to open things up a little bit more. And again, like, you know, and, you know, we have there's so many different techniques to get people engaged more in terms of training wise and everything wise, you know. So I think to me is really understanding each other, and they need to understand us. I need to understand them. In the beginning of the season, I always tell them that you come from different culture. I come from different culture. Our skin color is probably different, right? And I don't know yet where your family, what your views on anything, you know. But at the end of the day, I told them I may not be able to change your mind, but for us to work with each other, for us to really make a good team, we need to communicate. We need to get to know each other really well. We need to be honest with each other. You know, if we're honest with each other and we build a relationship and trust, we're going to be a very good team. It's a partnership. It's not one-way street. It's two-way street. And I understand, and I always tell them, like, you know, and with all due respect, I'm not trying to change you as a person. That's not what I'm trying to do here. And I'm trying to be your mentor, and I'll be here when you need me. I'll be your friend. I'll be your mentor. I'll be your coach. And at some point when I'm disciplining you, I want you to know there's a reason behind that. And we're going to have a conversation about that if we get to that point. So I think that to me is like a biggest philosophy as a coach for me. So yeah, I mean, I don't even know where we started. I don't know how we end up talking about that.
No, I mean, you know, and that was one of my questions with you was, I got it written down right here was, you know, because as a coach myself, it's very hard to kind of read, you know, I was one of those athletes where, you know, if you called me out and, you know, I think I stated this a few times. I remember when I stepped on the soccer field, if I wasn't feeling it, I literally would talk shit to the person to get him to start saying shit to me. And I'd be like, okay, now it's on.
Now it's gone. Yeah.
You know, but you know, if I know for my athletes and stuff like that, that it works for some and it doesn't for others.
Right.
And that's a very difficult thing. And so, you know, and to hear you say that, because it's a lot of the stuff that I do the same thing is I try to read them each day. And when you sit back and you observe them, you can see where they're at and what works. And that's a very difficult thing. And I remember, you know, actually when I was working with the other strength coach there, and that was before Pat, we actually got in a fight. But me and him were out, and he was screaming at me, because he couldn't understand why I wasn't getting into the athletes' faces and yelling at them and screaming and trying to motivate that way. And I said, man, that's not me. And I said, and that might work for some athletes, you know, and me and him were going and butting heads about that. And, you know, to hear you say that, man, is very refreshing. You know, and my other question to you would be like, you know, how did you learn that? That's a very difficult thing to learn.
I asked them straight up. Like I have individual meetings with my athletes, and I told them it really is an honest meeting. I told them in the beginning of the year, like, you want to be successful, you need to be honest with me in this meeting. And I asked them, like every single one of them, and I would take notes on all my meetings. I have a journal typically every year. I have a different journal, and I would ask the athlete, like, how can I motivate you when things don't go your way? How can we work together? And I have girls told me, like, literally, excuse my language, like if I effing sucks, you tell into my face, like, you're effing suck today. Get your head out of your ass and go. I have a girl, one of the sprinters that make the top 8 in NCAA on the women's side told me, like, in my first meeting, like, how do I motivate you? Like, so I need to be like, hey, that was really good. Like, but I think you can be, let's see if you can hit this one. Oh, that was really good. Okay, let's see. And really spin it on the positive side of it, right? And she was like, no, if I've sucked, you tell me I've sucked. I would need to hear that. And then you need to tell me to get my head on my ass and go. And but there are some athletes who be like, I'm better in a positive reinforcement. And be honest with me, but focus on the positive reinforcement and focus on that. And I was like, okay, I can do that. I can absolutely do that. And so, like understanding that and it almost like you're taking notes, but at the same time, take time in building that relationship with your athletes where, is not just screaming and yelling and almost like there's no coach without an athlete. There's no athlete without a coach. It really is a two-way conversations, right? And two-way street. So for me, having a really good understanding of each other will help us as a team. And I told my athletes, like, I'm not coaching you as events. Like, you're 50 freestyler, 100 freestylers, or 200 flyer. I'm coaching you as whoever their name is. And I'm in the business of coaching people rather than coaching swimming. I don't coach swimming. I coach people. And I told that to the parents all the time. I coach people because I told them that we are the bridge between family, home life, and real world. After this is Wild Wild West, right? After college, I mean, we all know, right? After college, we're like, oh, shoot, all right.
The Wild Wild West plus some, right?
Huh?
That's in the Wild Wild West plus some.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a whole different thing. Yeah,
so
I mean,
I'm interested in that. So
yeah, but like, I mean, you know what it is you got to put a lot of time in. I mean, for you to because I mean, I remember when I was in the strength room and the swim team comes in, there was a whole shit ton of them. It wasn't like the soccer team where I might have 15 boys in there. It was like 50 or something, coming in there and that door, and for you to sit there and to take that time for each and every one to get to know them. Oh man, that's awesome. And it does. And
thank you.
And people know, and it stated it too. You're it's not like it's just Bobby G by himself. You're a family man. I know you have a family. You're up late at night, and up early in the morning. So, you're putting a lot of time and energy in it. One thing I wanted to talk about that I saw that you did too is that, now correct me if I'm wrong, but you took your athletes out on the ocean, and it was early in the morning, and I think you were just trying to get their mind right.
Yep.
Am I
Yes,
right? So
I
yeah,
did. Yep.
what was that all about?
It was I honestly, we're such in the middle of a hardship, right? And this pandemic, it really take a lot out of us, right? Business, it was a lot for businesses. It's a lot for our community. It was a lot for everybody, right? And we're trying to, how can we move forward and really working together and handling this pandemic, and making sure that we're contributing to community and to beat this virus, right? And I think with college kids, so many uncertainty. The one thing that I knew I had as an athlete, and a lot of other athletes also have this, they know there's a closure. They know there's a day that's like, that is going to be my last day of competition, and that would be it. And I would hang my goggles. That's it, right? It's like the conference championships or the NC2As, right? Suddenly that getting taken away. Suddenly that you have no idea what's the end. And to me, you know, I've been preaching this a lot to our team where, you know, in life, we don't really know the finish line. I don't know what's the finish line, you know, but you need to have a short-term goals, a long-term goals, a short-term goals, how we, you know, and we are working to be the best version of ourselves every day. I try to take time once a week or once every couple of weeks, just making sure that, hey, you know, we can continue to motivate them, continue to talk to them, but this is really tough. This really hard. It's really hard for us, and we don't know what type of progression we need to do, because there's no such thing of ending. There's no, what's the conference look like? We don't know when we're gonna get shut down, right? If there's any positive, and we want to make sure that we're doing some type of prevention when we're in that position, right? So I remember that that particular week we were really good. Monday, we were pretty good. The week before, we were really good Monday. And as I kind of started seeing the struggle a little bit, I started turning up the intensity as well. It was kind of like, okay, we're ready right here, right now. We got to move it up just a little bit. Like Monday, I turned it up. Tuesday, I didn't stop. I was just kind of like, okay, we're gonna break them because we're gonna have more than 24 hours. I knew in one mind, I'm like, I'm gonna break them on Tuesday morning. And not just because I want to break them, I want to know their limit. If I don't know their limit, I can't coach them to their best potential. So that Tuesday morning, I want to know their limit, and mentally and physically. You know, and I knew, and I got it, and I wrote things down and everything. But on Wednesday afternoon, we show up, we were a little sluggish, and we were still feeling sorry about ourselves from Tuesday morning. Like, oh God, like it was tough. I feel sorry about, you know, and I'm like, okay, you know what, hey, we're going to turn around. Tomorrow morning, I was like, at the end of practice, like, everybody bring your warm clothes, no training clothes. We're going to go to the beach. We're going to have a team activities at the beach. I feel like we live at the beach. We have such a beautiful view every morning and every afternoon in the water. We get to see sunset in the water, like on the riverside, and sunrise on the beach. So to me, it's a good recharge. It's a really easy, it's an easy way for us to recharge. So I brought the team to the pool, to the beach on Thursday morning. They didn't know what we were gonna do. So I'm like, all right, put your mask on and just sit down and face the water. And where we started sitting down 10 minutes before the sunrise, and you know, and I just watched them from the back, and it's really beautiful view because they're watching it and they're being with their friends. They're being kids again. They're playing. They're doing things. They forget swimming. They forget everything. They're just being with them. And you know, at the end of that, I talked to them like, you may focusing on the uncertainty, but there's one certain thing that you need to really realize, that your friends that you have right now, the relationship that you build, the 4 years of your career here at UNCW is going to last lifetime, you know, and may not be friends with 30 other people, 40 other people, but you're gonna create 1 or 2 or 3 lifetime relationships, you know, and I feel like, you know, I speak with the team. That's it. 2 minutes really. And I'm like, okay, everybody go home. That's it. Like there's no, that's it. That's all I want you to do. Just do you, be your friends, and watch sunrise. And Thursday afternoon, we come back. We were lights out. We were good. And I was like, holy shit! Like we were good. Like we're like, no, we go to conference right now. We got a really good shot right now. So I think to me, it's just like feeding the soul is really important, you know, and really an importance of understanding when we're being very disciplined. We're understanding why we're being disciplined, why we do what we do. And take our time to break things down. Here's the reason why, it's what we're doing, it's what's going on. And okay, and having to work with them and when they make mistake, and I think all just kind of really, how do you say, it's just like all together, so.
Yeah, I thought that was when I saw that, I just thought that was awesome. A
Thank you.
very smart thing and a wonderful thing to do with your athletes, because it brings back what you were talking about in the beginning of that family and that
Yep.
community. And when you have that trust and bond, you're more likely, just like your family members, to do and go above and beyond what you would do for anybody else.
Yep.
And you can see why the program at UNCW did it, and why you guys were able to maintain that level when everybody's gunning for you, because you don't want to give up on this guy here who's family and trust. And when I saw you, when I saw that and that you did that, I was just, number one, I thought it was just like you said, of bringing everybody close. I knew it. I was like, damn, Bob. I mean, he's got it. This guy is doing. I mean, I probably did a little comment there. Was like, I usually give a hell yeah type of thing, and I saw you doing a couple other things. And then the second thing I thought about is, the wonderful thing about the University of North Carolina at Wilmington. And one of the professors there, Dr. Bennett, I don't know if you ever got a chance to speak with that man, but what a incredible man he was too there, and motivational and inspirational. But he always said, UNC wonderful. Because the one thing that it does have is you can literally ride your bike to that scene that you just laid out right there, which is a beautiful spot, man. It is a beautiful place. It's a wonderful. I mean, I used to always say, I'm like, man, the athletics should kill it, because as soon as they brought me there to play soccer, and they brought me down to that beach, and I was looking at all the girls in the ocean. I'd be like, I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Why would I go over to that landlocked position over there when I could be here? Right. And I remember, like, one of the first things, my younger brother came here, and we were rolling our bikes through campus, and we kind of went through the woods, and we popped out, and it was a pool party going on. Not a party, but like right smack dab in the dorms had their own pools, and they're grilling out, and they're canning, and I was like, both of us were just like, dude, this place right here is incredible. Yeah. It kind of sells itself. It really is. An awesome university just by location alone.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And to hear you talk about it. So the other thing that I just was reading up on you, and you just wrote a bunch of things, how you use social media. Yeah. Let alone the recruiting, but I love how you stated of just keeping people up to date. Yeah. Because like you said, swimming's not that, in even you guys winning all those conferences, something that people kind of, they're not looking into, but it gives those people the opportunity, like myself, to go in there and check out and see how things are doing, how things are run, what you're up to. And I just think, because most people would probably look at that and be like, oh man, look at Bobby's he's giving out all his good secrets and stuff like that, but no, hell no. It would be a great thing. I think that's very smart.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think that's social media is a great thing. Like, again, you got to try to engage with what's going on, engage with the people around you. And again, like in our sport, we want to give, attention to our kids, where, again, it's such a hard sport where, again, like you say, without social media, nobody knows what the swimmers are doing. You know what I'm saying? And nobody knows that we're here at 5:45 in the morning. Nobody knows that. You know what I mean? And I want to show that, to the general population and outside the swimming world as well. Like, hey, and nobody knows that swimmers, some of them really, really athletics in the weight room, really athletics. I mean, you work with Rob Henderson. He's one of the most athletic person I've ever met in my life. And he was a badass swimmer, right? I think to me it's almost like, even like our administration, like, oh wow, like you guys doing all this like medicine ball. Like, yeah, I mean, it's athletics, man. It's not just swimming laps anymore, So I think there's so many different ways to do it, you know, and for us, it's important for us to keep the family once in, never out. Keep the family engaged, keep the alumni engaged with what was going on, and again, in making sure that great people always attract great people. And I want to attract great recruit that's not only talented in the water, but talent, man. I mean, it's United States is the best swimming talent in the world. Like you can get, there's so many talent in this country, but for us to create the best team that we could create, we got to find the right characters. And I think with social media, it opened up, uh, interests and the right interests, the right people to interested in our program. And really for recruiting standpoint, the fundraising standpoint, the family standpoint, the alumni standpoint, really, it's so much to do with that. But I'm a pretty detailed guy. My background is in accounting, so I'm a check balance and stuff. Like I'm a right and left person. I'm like, all right, left is credit, right is debit. Simple. You got a credit. If you have a credit, you need to get the debit one. You got to be balanced. If we're like looking at homes, we're looking at homes right now in Wilmington with my wife, and I'm like, if it's not like symmetrical or something, I'm kind of like bothering me a little bit. My mom like, I knew that's gonna bother you because it's not symmetrical. Like, I mean, you know, I can live with it, you know, but that's just the way my brain works, you know. But no, yeah, I think because with my accounting stuff, you know, I'm always like tedious when it comes. Okay, Twitter is for this, Instagram we're gonna hit this, and then Facebook we're gonna hit this, and then each of them we got a different analytical. So you know, we really analyze different way, observe different way, and how can we utilize it the right way. Again, pay attention to detail. It's more than just practices that we write on the board. It's a lot more than just that. And I mean, that's to me, I feel like it create the love and passion for our coaching staff in terms of what we do. If you're in it, if you're in our sport, in our world, like your world and my world, it's more than just the workout, right? It's more, we want to truly, we're in it because we want to assist people. We want to see them successful. We want them to be in a better place when they found us, right? And I think to me, again, like as a head coach, I feel like my in the business world per se, I'm the CEO of the organization, and I got to make sure I got to streamline our operation. I got to streamline the people that we work with. I got to manage the people. I got to make sure that hey, this is the culture that we're running in this organization. It's really overall, as a big picture, it seems a lot, but I break things down a lot in terms of the check balances really, and the credit and debit got to be. I'm a big believer in that, so it's kind of weird the way it works, and like I force all my staff to you need to know Excel. Yeah, I'm sorry, like you Google Excel, that's how I live. Like every day, like I have my, like the planning and everything in Excel, and I'm sorry, maybe when you become a head coach, you can do it in any other apps or whatever. Yeah, it's other software. But right now, you're doing Excel because that is the one thing that I'm pretty comfortable with. So,
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, man. And I saw that, and you motivated me because the coronavirus really got me into my hardest thing, which is planning and getting
Yeah.
on the computer and I like, just like you stated, being with my athlete
Yeah.
in that connection right there, than sitting in front of that computer, which probably for yourself is the hardest thing, but when you were stating like how you were using social media, because I always stated social media, and even with my students, because I fight them, because a lot, social media could be looked at as a bad thing, but also as a
Right.
good thing, and that's why I've been putting these videos out, because I want to use it as a good thing and put out
Right.
some good information out there that people could use to hopefully not just excel in their sport and in health and fitness, but also some little tidbits of information that they could use in their own life. And you know, I use Instagram as almost like my resume, and for you to kind of state some of the things of how you broke Facebook down and Instagram, and I'm like, every day I'm gonna do three things, and I'm like, hey man, Bobby's doing the same thing, and he agrees. And I was just like, and you know what it did to me? I was like, hell yeah,
Yep.
I'm gonna
Yep.
keep doing it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
brother.
keep doing it, coach.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's
I appreciate you
yeah.
motivating me and keeping me on the, you know, and now I'm going to get my ass on Excel because I'm usually a Microsoft Word guy, or you know, I'm old school. I'm all journals, you
Right.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
I swear to God, I got so many stinking journals. I got like a whole library over here with all my
Yeah.
stuff and thoughts written on there. You know, but what I want to ask you is, you know, what are some of the things, man, that motivates you? You know,
Sure. I mean, I think honestly, the big thing was my family background, where man, without swimming, I wouldn't be able to get my degree, or or living in this country. I think it was more where it was my way out. From I to really to help my family in financial way, and obviously to make it out really. And I knew academically it was important for us. For my mom, my mother is a teacher, and she's in Indonesia. She lives in Indonesia. So they all live in Indonesia. My mother is a teacher. My mother always, if you have the opportunity to find something, try to go for academic. In Indonesia, the country that I'm from, there's no such thing public university. And university, if you don't have money, you can't go to university. You have to pay. It's just so expensive. And I knew that without scholarship somewhere, I would work immediately. And I knew that, like, for me to be able to help financially my parents, I need to get a degree. And I need to start with that, and having some type of consistency. And to me, I feel like, I work in an accounting side of it, obviously. And then I was working for, I did some internship and everything with a financial firm, like a big time accounting firm. And I worked for internal audit here at UNCW before becoming a coach. But when I become a coach, I feel like there's truly something that I really love. I don't have to do this all my life, because at some point, if I don't love this anymore, I'll step away from it, and do something. I will figure something out, right? But I think for me, it's almost where the passion, right? And some people, at some point, you're gonna find your passion, whatever it is, right? And for me, it's coaching and working with people, and I can right now with UNCW, I can have my own business. Like, I'm building up Wilmington Swim Academy, and while building up my own business, I also like to create opportunity for families out there that cannot afford swim lessons. I would like to create a systematic and sustainable program for them to learn how to swim for free. In that way, sure, we are building it on a financial way, but at the same time, how can we give back to the community? And I think, to me, having that passion and the balance in life, it's really for your soul, and obviously financially is important, right? But I think just all combination, that I truly love what I'm doing. Like, I go to the office every day. I don't feel like I'm doing work, so, and, I get on, I was doing some budgeting stuff before this, and I'm kind of like, well, I mean, I have to do that, as a CEO. At some point, you're going to have to take a look at, hey, where are you financially? What's going on? Are we running in the black or running in the red, right? And what's going on, right? And then and 2:00 we got another meeting, and 2:30 we got another meeting. But to me, it's almost like it's part of the puzzle. But the background, the truly background was, it was more like I can't quit, because if I quit, it would affect my family at home back then. It's okay if I fail, as long as I learn from my failure and move forward. But I feel like I had a lot more on my shoulder, as a student athlete, where I was fully fortunate to receive full scholarship at UNCW. And man, I was a full ride athlete, and I was working my ass off. Like, I rode my bike all over Wilmington for 4 years, right? I didn't have car. I didn't have a single car, right? But I was able to send money home, a couple $100 a month, And $200 a month when I was a student. This is when I was a student, and when $200 a month, gee, that's like my mother only make like $300 a month, and my dad's only make like $200 a month. So an extra $200, that's a massive, And to me, I'm like, I felt that I have the edge here more that I don't know what you're swimming for. I'm swimming for my family. If this is my unit to me, so I was like, and UNCW able to help me to send money home, even a couple $100, like hey, that's the car that I don't have to buy. I don't have to buy a car. I just ride bike everywhere. I'm fine. But if I can send that $200 a month, but that having me, we're like, you know what? I can't just sit on my ass and not doing anything in the summertime because I want to get private lessons as much as I can, swim lessons. And I worked in the farm before, just kind of like, hey, on the weekend, I'm like, hey, we got 5 hours. We need some help. Like, I'll pay you $10. And sure. What time? Where? Okay. I'll be there. I'll do it. I'll do everything. I did everything, man. Like, I did, and I worked at the bar before. Yeah. It really just almost like, to me, I feel like that really create my motivation a lot, and where, my family counting on me, and I wouldn't say counting on me, but they believe in me, and they sacrificed a lot when I was young. And, so I think to me, hey, I'm swimming for my family. I don't know what you're doing for this. I do this for my family. It's more than just getting scholarship. You know what I'm saying? The scholarship that I got, I sent money home. Yeah. Right. And so that's kind of like that to me, it's to the extreme. That was like the beginning of it, and now I still have that mentality where, like, I'm not afraid of toe-to-toe with somebody. I'm like, I'm still young, and like every NCAA, I'm like, I don't care how successful you are as a swim coach. Like, my swimmers will be ready to go. Yeah. You're slipped up, we'll be right there with you. So.
And I was just thinking, man, your coach must have loved you because, I mean, I just remember the athletes that I came by and stuff like that, and just if you were next to me, and I'm catching your vibe right now, I'm starting to get goosebumps just hearing you talk about that, because like I want to that it would just push me to, yeah. Because I just hearing you say that, I know absolutely in my mind that just because you were on my team and you were next to me, and I used to say that all the time too, and I don't want to bring his name up, to the other strength coach I used to work with. I say, man, I'm here to motivate these kids as well, but I'm like, dude, these are Division I athletes, man. Yeah. I said, I remember just when I was playing college soccer, if one person slacked, dude, he took hell. Yeah. And you're probably the same way, man. If that person came up or showed up late or something, he's probably already going to take hell from not just the coaches, but all the other athletes that because when you have that family, man, you should have that accountability, yeah. And I mean, dude, my hairs are standing up. You're hearing you talk about that,
Let's go, baby.
Oh, baby, I'm ready. As soon as I get off the phone with you, I'm going right to the gym. So, so another question I want to ask you, and I know you kind of talked about it, but, what are some of the things that inspires you? I'm sure at that time it was a lot of family that you talked about, but right now, is there a person, a book, or anything, or where do you find inspiration for yourself?
For me, man, it's simple. My son.
Right.
I don't know, man. I'm never really a big. I read one of the book that I got this book for my birthday. I'm a big fan of Coach K. My wife graduated from Duke, and we were lucky that my wife's grandma had season tickets for a long time. My late grandmother, season ticket to Duke, and for a long time. So when we were living in Raleigh, I was working for NC State. I was never a big fan of Duke, and then obviously my wife was a big fan of Duke, but hey, let's go. Oh yeah, hell yeah, I'll go to Cameron. The first time I went to Cameron when we were dating, I'm like, it's pretty cool. But it was hard. I was working for NC State, so it was kind of like, I'm kind of quietly cheering for the other team, No, but I've always been a big fan of Coach K. My wife gave me this book. It's called Leading with the Heart, and I read that book. That's the only book. I'll be honest with you. That's the only book that I read over and over and over again. And I go to different chapters when I need to. And I don't read it like, oh, I'm reading a full book. No, I kind of like pick and choose which chapter. I read the full thing already. I just go like, all right, I kind of want to go this chapter again and just kind of reread it. So I think Coach K is such a good leader. He's really, truly know how to build that relationships, and he's so honest with his athletes, and they're like, we're not talented to win national title. He will tell them. And then if they are talented enough, he will tell them, we're talented to win national title, and he will only tell them one time. That's it, right? And I think that book really kind of helped me a lot. It's just kind of, okay, it's seeing things. I don't really like reading swimming at all. I just don't think is beneficial for me to read swimming, because I like to see from other things bringing into the sport that I work with. I like to feel a bigger way. It's like in terms of training wise and everything, I like to listen to physiology talks, and almost like as boring as chemistry talk. And I like to listen to those stuff, and rather than just listening other swim coaches talk, because I'm like, okay, the language, sure, I know, but I want to know the science behind it. But I think the big motivation is really my son. I'll be honest with you. Wilmington has such a big impact in my life. When this job came around, I'm like, I always have a dream to have a family and build my family in Wilmington. I always have that dream, and this opportunity came, and I did some homework. I'm like, you know what, we can make this happen. If it doesn't work, we'll be all right. We'll go on our feet. If it works, this will be a really cool gig, and really cool place and time for our family to be in. So yeah, man. I mean, I take a look at it every day. Like today, for example, I got practice from 5:45 to 9 o'clock. I have calls all day, meetings all day. So once we're done at 9 o'clock, I book it at home immediately. I like to see my son, and my wife was at home. My son's at home, so we just hang out for just doing nothing, just hang out, play around for a little bit, for an hour, 15 minutes, and then go back to work. And to me, it's almost like, if I can give him really the world that he can grow up and really have a good foundation. That's what I work for, to be honest with you. And the moment my work taking away myself from my family and my son and hopefully more kids in the future. But that's the moment I'll quit the job. That's the moment I'll step away from the job. Just to me, it's family always first, and whatever I do that I'm passionate in, whatever I do passionate and affecting my family lifestyle, that's the moment I'm gonna call it quit, and I'll figure something out and for make sure that family is always gonna be first, and hopefully I can lead by example, and hopefully the people, the student athletes, the staff that are working with me see that. And I think family is important. And I think, once they see that, how important my family for me, hopefully they can do the same thing. And in a way, I'm not trying to do that, but they'll know. They know how I love how much time I spend with my family. So yeah, I mean, I think that's the big thing, really. So family is important. It really, really is an important part for me, and to keep motivation, and I think to keep going and understanding, really, I can't say anything different, to be honest with you.
I knew you were gonna say family. Just the way you started when we started talking about that, and you brought that of that's what your goal is, to of bringing the program of making it that family, because it's so important. It is it's such a motivational thing and we already discussed some of those things, and you were talking about too how you like to start the morning, and you have that morning ritual. Are there any other habits that you say, like daily habits or rituals that you do because on a consistent basis, that you feel has really kind of led you to being
Yeah.
successful and put
Create a
you
journal. Create a journal for yourself. Be honest to yourself. Some things that you do not working, and some things that you do will work really well. Write things down, because we think we're the smartest people, but we're not, right? And we have our weaknesses, and truly honest about, what do we need to be better in. And I think to me, I do that before I go to bed. Typically, I spend about, not long, just 15 minutes. I will write things down and just kind of, okay, this is something that I really like what I did today. And it's something that, it didn't work out for me. And I try to be really picky about what some things that I really didn't, I may didn't work out, but in reality, it really didn't work out really that well. And take time to evaluate yourself and observe what you're doing. And I think once you do that, you got to be honest to yourself first. And before you become successful, I think you got to be. I think give yourself credit when credit's due, and evaluate yourself and make some changes when you really believe that. I thought that was the best thing that could happen, but actually I was totally wrong. So that happened to me before. I'm like, you know what? We will not do that again. I did that for 3 years, and that's the best thing. Like, you know what? That hurt us. So, yeah, man. I mean, I think that's, to me, like, those are the few things that I did that really trying to be consistent and trying to do the best I can and be honest to myself.
What now? You talked about, like, when you're about ready to leave the profession. What do you see where you will feel, or what do you feel like you need to accomplish where you're at right now, that when you do walk away, that you feel that you've let your legacy?
I don't know. That's a good questions. That's really good questions. I knew when I was ready to leave Power 5 conference, my wife asked me, and she went to every single NC2A that when we were dating, and we were totally like 7 years now, 7 years total. 6 years, I think. God, this is bad. I don't remember. I might remember more than I do. But since we started dating, she went to every single NC2A. She watched every single national title that I ever coached. She watched every single top 4 finish of the program that I was a part of. She watched some of the failures that I had in NC2A. She was a part of, it's a different feeling when I was at NC State. Every time I go to men's NC2A, I got nervous as shit because we were so good. And, every year we finished 4th in the country. We're like, there's no room for error. If you go in there, you just want to be perfect. And it's just so hard, mentally. And you're trying to help out your athletes to stay relaxed, and you kind of relax, but at the same time, like, before a relay, I'm about to puke.
Oh, yeah.
And then on the women's side, we're like climbing up, so it's a different feeling, a different vibe, and she felt that, and then she asked me questions, you ready? Like, are you ready to move on to, UNCW? I think we can perform at some point. We can produce at some point, but it's going to take a long time, I think, to get there. Maybe, hopefully not as long as I think, but I don't know. And she's like, you produce some national champions, you recruit some people that can win national champions, can win Olympic gold medals in the future. You're ready to step away from that. And I told my wife that, I am in peace with, I think, to me, in my short career as a 33 years old, like, I have this is like all the instances that I have, so I'm kind of like, it remind me all the time where, like, that was a special time in my career where it was, to me, it was more that I'm not satisfied in any way, but I'm okay with, like, it was a really perfect timing at the right time with the right people and with the right opportunity. We create something special. But at the same time, I knew that if I stick around in the Power 5 conference as an associate head coach, I wouldn't have time for my family. And I think to me, it was like, I'm going to keep working hard. I'm going to be passionate about my job. And I think I truly believe at some point, I'm going to find this talent that people will be like, holy shit, UNCW, you got somebody that's challenging for national title. Like, oh my God, like, at some point we'll get to that point. And you better believe in that. And I told him, like, if you got to trust my ability, I told, like, to do that, to produce that. And to me, that question was so important that when my wife asked, nobody really asked me that, like, you're ready to move away from that competition to, like, being, I'm in USA national team staff right now for the last 2 years. Won't be next year because I don't think we have anyone that will challenge me top 4, top 5 in any event, USA national team. You know, and she asked those hard questions. But the answer was, I checked every box, you know, and how I'm going to move forward, I have no idea. I have no idea what would take me to step away. And maybe when my wife and I, we like hiking, we like, you know, we like to go camping and everything. Maybe one time that we want to take some more time to just kind of travel, and maybe when our kids in the future go to college and everything, just we want to travel more, spend some time and enjoying our life more and do something different. Maybe that's when, like, you know, it's all right. I think we did what we needed to do, and let's spend some time. Like let's cherish our time. Just kind of, you know, I think maybe when we get to that point, in terms of professionally, I have no idea. You know, all I knew, like, I was in peace to, like, a lot of people like question me, man, dude, like, you were like the associate head coach at top 4 team in the country, and, you know, continue like year after year. I had somebody in my group that challenging for national title over the past 5 years in different events. 2018, 2019, I coached defending NCAA champions in the 200 fly, one of the fastest guy in NCAA history in the 200 flies. And to me, you know, but I found peace. Like, you know, it's okay. I'm all right with that. And, you know, I'm going to produce, I think I'm going to try to create the same quality experience for my student athletes. They may be a little bit less talented than the people that I ever worked with before, but that doesn't mean it's not fun. So I think to me, it's more, you know, I found peace. And to me right now that I am in a position where, like, I'm very competitive in this level right now, and I want to bring this program to the next level. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I am.
Yeah. You know, and just to kind of give you a little motivation myself, man, just in the short time that I've known you and the person that you are, man, I just knew that you were the right fit for that, man.
Thank you.
Is your name still on the I remember I've swam in that pool so much, just busting my own ass in there to get ready for ocean rescue and stuff. And I remember your name being.
Oh, now, man, I'm too slow for them now.
It's go?
I'm going.
But I mean, your name was. I mean, this guy is no slouch. You know, let alone coach, but is a complete badass, like I said. And you know, Bobby, honestly, buddy, I just want to, you know, again, piggyback off that, buddy. Just again, I mean, just me watching you, the small things that you've been doing already. And now, absolutely, after this discussion and conversation that we had, buddy, I have no doubt in my mind that when you do walk away from it, buddy, that you are definitely going to leave a legacy, and you're going to leave a family and a community where they will appreciate what you're doing. And I can tell, just as a coach myself, man, and in my old age of what it takes to get there, and I see you taking those steps, man, and I just want to let you know how much I appreciate you taking the time to just, I mean, I know you got this is a family man. You know, he is up late at night, he's up early in the morning, and he took time out of his day to drop some gems. And, you know, I appreciate that. And I hope, and I'm sure anybody watching this video will appreciate it as well. And, you know, before I cut you and let you go, Bobby, I want you to make sure, give me the social media stuff.
Yeah.
The links. Yeah. I'll link them too, so that anybody watching this video, and then I'll make sure I'll get that to you. But again, Bobby, thanks so much. I appreciate you. I'll drop you a little bit of line here, man. I know people have been probably checking in on you and saying, dude, hey, what's going on? But thanks for spending the time with us. But man, I appreciate it a ton. You've dropped a ton of valuable knowledge, not just for any athlete watching this or coach watching this to pick up those little bits of information, but also anybody that just wants to, you know, excel and do better in life, man. You've dropped us with some gems, man, and I appreciate again. So, all right, buddy.
I appreciate your time. Yeah.
All right, you have a good one, Bobby. Thanks again, man. I'll be in touch, and I look forward to, hopefully, you know, again, we'll bring you back on here, man. And when you and we'll
anytime,
talk
brother.
about.
Thank you. I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate you for having me.
Bobby, take care, man. Have a good one.
You too, man.
Good luck, buddy.
Thank you, man. Thank you.